taking off like a Boeing. If the volume spikes, then it's time to trade. Mighty 90 setting up, it's time to get paid. Navigation trading on the mic, time to get focused. We don't need any indicator, hocus pocus. It's all about the price, just watch it move. Manage your risks so you don't lose. First hour of trading is all we need. Focus on the patience and forget about greed.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's day trading live stream. Today's Friday, August 21st. Today is option expiration. S&P is up 24, NASDAQ up 120, Russell up 20, Dow is up 271. So it looks like all about within 1/3 to 0.5%-ish. Gold up 1.5%, silver's up 2.25. Notes and bonds a little bit red, 10-year yield up 1/3. Oil is flat, natural gas up 1.5%, soybeans, wheat, and corn all pretty flat, mixed. Euro and the pound, tiny green, and Bitcoin surging again, being led by MSTR. Bitcoin's up 6%. Biggest movers on the individual stocks, MSTR's up 7, Hood's up 5, Circle's up 5, Coin's up 5. Just a handful of reds. Bob is down 4%, is the biggest, and then APP's down 1. Verizon is flat. Netflix flat. A lot of green. A lot of green on the screen. I've got a few things to take care of once the bell rings. Number one, I've got an OPEX calendar that I need to manage. I've got to put on a 6-7 double calendar, and I got to sign some shares from my Baidu earnings calendar, so I need to shut that down. So take care of those things, and then we'll jump into some stock trading. As far as the econ calendar goes, we've got some PMI, manufacturing and services, that gets announced 15 minutes after the market opens. Nor's becoming the meme king in here. Got a few seconds till the market opens here. Looks like the expected move in SPX for the day is a little over 31. Getting a little bounce into the open.
Order filled.
All right, getting a little dip here. First order of business is managing my OPEX calendar. I also want to get a 6-7 on. And I need to close down my Baidu position. So give me just a minute here, my friends. Sorry, I'll turn my audio off so you don't hear my fills. Okay. DCTM number 20967. All right, my DCTM has been posted. No 1DTE today with Monday options. VIX contracting down over 3.5%. All right, so I scaled out of one of three on my OPEX calendars. Put in an order to get out of another. Getting a little dip since the
Order
open.
filled.
I wouldn't doubt if the set price is somewhere up around 78 or maybe even higher with that little pump we saw into the open. I'm definitely going to still keep trading the 3-4 on Mondays and the 6-7 on Fridays. Didier. The midweek ones, I'm going to be trading a little smaller and more, just less in general. And then I'll continue to do some of those longer duration ones like I did by putting on a single and then adding another single to double it up. All right, new lows. Oh, I got filled. Okay, so I got one OPEX left. See if this thing really wants to drop. Wow, MSTR is only up 4% now, so cryptos must be coming down. Yeah, MSTR, yeah, all the cryptos kind of dipping. Bitcoin. Chips also coming down. Big tech also coming down. Amazon, Apple, super weak. Just watching SPX here just to kind of manage my last OPEX calendar. I'm also going to put in an order on part of my hedged iron Condor. Russell coming down to pre-market lows. NASDAQ pushed through its pre-market lows. S&P not quite down to its pre-market lows. SpaceX red down about 1.3. Amazon going through new lows. Meta's trying to bounce. Tessie trying to hold above pre-market or previous day high. It's just kind of sweeping between the pre-market levels. Microsoft showing some relative strength. Swept previous day low, now it's up to previous day high. So Microsoft and Meta showing strength. The others pretty weak. S&P dipped back to lows, a little bit of a bounce. Oh yeah, Circle. Circle's pumping, Hood's pumping. Bitcoin bounced. Microsoft, a little rejection at previous day high. Meta looks like it's wanting to push though. Apple through lows. Circle up 9.5%. Hood's up 10.5. Holy moly. Chips starting to bounce. AMD, MU, SNDK. But the indices are not bouncing. Crypto's flying, chips bouncing, indices not.
Autofilled. Autofilled.
NASDAQ back to lows. Meta staying strong. Microsoft, big rejection now. Tesla held previous day high, bouncing. Trying to get back up to pre-market high. Circle and hood still cranking, coin pushing. MSTR had the relative strength for the cryptos early, but it's now at the bottom of the four as far as how much it's up today. Big banks are pushing. Russell's bouncing. Look at this Bitcoin move. I bet from 36 to 43 in 3 days. I wanted to see one more leg down in Mr. SPX before I bailed on my last OPEX trade. But I don't want this thing to rip on me either. All right, coin and circle finally taking a little pause. Hood still pushing up 12. Apple still going through lows. Tesla's just chopping. Meta trying to reclaim previous day high. S&P, NASDAQ's little bounce getting pushed back down. PLTR at lows. AVGO rolling over. So Meta really showing the relative strength along with the cryptos here. But the S&P and NASDAQ looking heavy. NASDAQ new lows. S&P almost there. Intel's trying to bounce. Qs and S&P kind of a little bounce off the lows. Tesla trying to make its way up. Meta's still strong. Meta pushing through pre-market high. Apple still going through lows. Russell getting stronger. Almost back
Order
up to
filled.
previous day high.
Order cancelled. Order filled.
NASDAQ new lows. Circle, a little pause. Coin still pushing. Hood still over 12.5%. S&P new lows. Anybody else do the OPEX calendar? Is that today's the 7682.07? That shows August 20th. Are you sure that's today's? Yeah, I think that's yesterday's close, wouldn't it? No. $76.82. That had to be today, right? Yeah. Yeah, so we got that little artificial pump right at the open. So you can see the high of day in SPX is only 76.78, but the SET's at 76.82. That's 4 points above. So that's way up here. So essentially for every contract below that set price, making about $100 per contract. So it's down about 20 points from the set. So should be a nice little winner. I'm gonna go ahead and try to get at it. $90 on my last one. It's at 88. S&P, little bounce off pre-market low. Dark Avenger, did you do it? Did you take an OPEX? Chips coming down. Meta back below previous day high. Rejected pre-market high. Little pause, pull back in the cryptos. I needed a little bit more in SPX to get filled. Now it's bouncing. I'll give it a minute. Netflix week. Yeah, I got it signed on Baidu too, AJ. I just closed it out right after the market opened. AVGO, big drop from the open. It's now back down to previous day high. Tesla's still staying pretty strong. Keeps getting kind of rejected a little bit at that pre-market high, but it's trying to push through again. I'm going to add some Tesla calls to my watch. If I can get a pullback retest here. I'll use the 0-day 355s if I get in. But gonna need a pullback. Oh, Tessie's pumping now. Coinbase and Hood really showing the most strength in the cryptos now. Hood up 13.5, Coin up 10. Tesla taking off. No real chance for me to enter unless you're playing the breakout. Bitcoin kind of pulling back. Yeah, Tesla would have been a tough one to catch. For me, anyway. Just kind of chopping in pre-market range. Then exploded. Hood's up now 14.5%. Every time I look at Hood, it's up another percent. Apple still at lows, Nvidia near lows. Meta's kind of chopping around previous day high here. Tesla getting after it. Chips are all still heavy. AVGO at lows, SMH is at lows, AMD, MU. It's going to be hard for this market to go anywhere unless the chips decide to come. Chips decide to wake up. Meta's interesting, but it's just kind of, I don't like the way it rejected that pre-market high. It's been pretty weak with that lawsuit looming the last week. I'll be back in 1 minute. All right, S&P starting to bounce, so I got to figure out where I want to offload my last OPEX here. I was hoping for one more flush, but may need to cut it. Woo! Tezzy going ham. So's Hood. Chips must be bouncing a little bit. SpaceX, oh yeah. Little pop off the lows. Still a little bit red. PLTR bouncing. All right, I'm giving a little back on my OPEX. I'm going to cut if it goes any higher here. See if this is just a little fake out bounce.
Order cancelled. Order filled.
Russell still kind of bleeding lower. MU back through lows. AMD's bounce getting pushed back down. This looks like some kind of news in Tesla. Looks like some profits coming into the 6-7. It's a good sign. Big volume in Tesla too on this push. Microsoft trying to get back up. I'm going to load some 485s in Microsoft. 45 calls, 0 DTE. I'm going to start a position in Microsoft here with room to add right at previous day high. See if this thing's ready to break out and jump on the bull train. I got filled at $1.53 on those. I'll consider adding if we pull back around that pre-market high area in Microsoft. Meta starting to come back up to pre-market high. All right, I'm going to add some more. Trying to add. Well, it kind of bounced away from me. I'm not going to chase it. Well, that would have been a nice ad. Indices coming back down. Russell through lows, through pre-market lows. Yeah, see, Dark Avenger, you lied. I knew that wasn't right. That's even better. Holy moly, look at that. 87. 76, 87. Look how much. Look, the high of SPX today was around 77. The SET came out at 87. Almost 88. 87.93. Beautiful. No, Krish, we cannot get a 10-point bounce. Yeah, because I was looking at my chart on Tossin. It said that number you mentioned, Dark Avenger, was for the August 20th. Yeah, now it says 8/21. Yeah. Tony, did you do a OPEX calendar? Ooh, Microsoft's taking off for me. That ad would have been really nice, but I'll take what I got. Take some off at $2. Ah, may have missed it. Should have had a profit target sitting in there. There we go. Filled at $2. I'm going to put an order at 230 to take off some more. If Microsoft wants to give it. Nice, Tony. Still got a one lot. I'm still holding one. I want more. I'm greedy, Tony. I want more. I may add back into Microsoft here. I'm going to do a small ad. Filled at 127. It's a pretty quick rejection, so I don't know. We'll see here. We'll see if that ends up being a good idea. Meta not getting any momentum. Filled at 127, so I'll try to scale out of that ad at 155. Google's starting to bounce. Russell going through lows. NASDAQ at lows. I need S&P through lows. Amazon trying to reclaim previous day low. Yeah, that big loss that I took on the OPEX calendar was there was that, I think was it a tariff announcement? There was something coming out like 30 minutes after the market opened, and
Order
I decided
cancelled.
to hold through that, and price just
Order filled.
ripped my face off. That was just, you know, that's not a reflection of the strategy. That's a reflection of poor management on my part. But yeah, so I mean, besides that, it's been pretty good. There's also 1 week where I forgot to take it, and that would have been a really nice winner. So I think in the course I have a spreadsheet where I document the set price and then the open price of SPX and then a couple other data points to kind of show the historical performance. I may need to update it for the last few cycles. All right, Microsoft coming back down to pre-market high. With I traded on Interactive Brokers. Schwab still gives it fits. But with the buying the, yeah, you can do it on Schwab. You just gotta, it's one extra step the day of, but then the next morning, like today, it's a lot easier. But I've just been doing it on IBKR, so I don't have to mess with that. All right, I've got my Microsoft ready to cut if we don't bounce here. All right, I'm going to cut. That's too bad. It's a big rejection. I think I'm going to end up red on that one, even though I had a nice profit. Let's see. Minus 290. Damn it. Damn you, Microsoft. Tesla, a little pullback. S&P starting to bounce here. All right, I'm just going to get out of my last OPEX here, be done with it.
Order filled.
All right. So I actually did better on my, well, I got it at 76, 82, and then $80.40 on that one. So still nice profit. I'll calculate that later and post in the calendar trades. All right. Is there anything else I'm interested in before we shut down the stream? Microsoft looking like it may want to reclaim here. Nvidia falling through lows. Every little bounce in MU getting shoved back down. SMH at previous day low. I'm going to get back in Microsoft here, right at pre-market high. In at 120 and 121 and 122. AVGO is trying to bounce. Meta's still holding at previous day high, but just nothing. Nothing going on. No big stops yet. S&P still just trading within its pre-market range. One little tick below pre-market lows, but Tezzy popping back up. New highs. Watson, did you watch the video I sent you last night? You're going to love it. I tagged you in the directional chat channel. You're going to love it. Man, Tesla pumping. From a farm stand. Nice. Got the goats on the go? When I moved into my property that I currently live in 8 years ago, there's a bunch of areas that were just really overgrown. And so there's actually a company right outside Kansas City called Goats on the Go. So I rented some goats. They brought over a trailer of about 30 goats. And then they had like these temporary fences that they set up around these different areas that I wanted taken care of. And these goats just freaking mowed it down. And then they'd move them to a new section and they would just mow it down. it was pretty cool, actually. Microsoft just sleeping at pre-market high here. S&P dipping again. Come on, softy. Get back up there. If the S&P can bounce and we can get a little positive coordination between our front and back, could get a decently quick transformation on the 6-7. It's a lot of ifs, I understand, but could happen. Tesla, a little pause. Man, Microsoft just went to sleep as soon as I got in. All right, now it's kind of dipping. Softy needs to bounce here or I cut it. All right, I'm out. Softy got me for a couple of losses. All right, I'm going to wrap the stream. I'll keep watching. If I see anything interesting, I'll post in the trade channel. Otherwise, everybody have a good rest of your Friday, and I will see you in Power Hour. Cheers.